Good morning, everybody. All right, I'm going to joining Lauren. I'm allowing everybody's webcam and microphone. So I don't know who I've already allow. Some people I can, depending on the device that you're on, but if you choose to have your stuff activated, you absolutely can. Good morning, Trenton. Hello, Randy. Hey, Comox. Nice day there today. It's sunny in Edmonton. And this is Nicole. We have Heather is on holiday this week, so we have Nicole who's just back from maternity leave. So welcome back, Nicole.
Yeah,
dive in.
From my house.
Yeah. Nice in Edmonton. Yeah. Hello, Florin. I'm sure I'm saying your name totally bad, but I apologize. So how is everybody doing? I'm glad to see everybody's here. It was nice to see that we had some registrants. There's been a couple of, I think a lot of people are sort of rolling back to work. So I think that the registration for a lot of the webinars is kind of declining a little bit because people are getting back into the swing of things. So I'm glad that you guys are still all here. Maybe just to get a sense from those of you who are already online. Oh, next week. Okay. So how many people think that they will be here or able to participate or are planning on watching it after it's gone on to the CAF Connection? Because we've got 3 sessions left. So is there anybody who's going to be able to be here for all 3 of the next ones? Or are we going down to like Corinne's is going to be here for all? Okay, awesome. Because those are all okay, excellent. Thanks, Jeremiah. Unsure. I'm the token vet. Oh, nice. Awesome. Hello, Richmond, BC. Oh, I love Richmond. I have a story about I'm back to work part-time, so it's variable. If I work from home, maybe, yeah. Trenton, July. Yeah, I know it's kind of all over the map, right? Like Nicole and I were just talking, Suffield apparently is back to work tomorrow. So, which, not gonna say anything, but yeah, I'm not sure. So, all right, well, you know what? We're going to do them one way or the other because they're all on the schedule. And so for anybody who wants to hear what we did talk about, they'll all be there. They'll all be on the recorded. Hi, Moose Jaw. They'll all be on the CAF Connection or wherever it's being posted because I know that there was supposed to be another link and I don't know that I actually have that current link, but it'll all be there. So we're going to be recording them, so they'll be here for posterity. And interesting note that Nicole shared yesterday when we were practicing is that the chat doesn't show up. And I think somebody might have mentioned that last week too. So if you want to participate, but you're worried about your notes or your thoughts being sort of held in perpetuity, you don't have to worry because those are gone. So you can be as forthright and vocal as you wish in the chat, and know that that's not going to be anywhere held. Hello, Sudbury. Hey, are you where the Big Nickel is? Are you near the Big Nickel? I'm trying to get better. Yeah, look at that. Woo-hoo. Okay. Yeah, there was a very interesting story about how that nickel came to be on, was it Under the Influence? When we heard about the nickels? Yeah. I just have my resident, yeah, and here she is, and now she's going, bye. All right. 11 people, let's go. So welcome back, everybody. Appetite for Change, session 3. We are heading into systems for success. So we're circling back to success because, oh, thanks, Nicole.
Yeah.
See, it's good to have a wingman because I was like, I would have just started talking. So we've pictured what it looks like to be on the other side of the finish line. So we've thought about the conversations that are influencing the conversations that we're having with ourselves. So now we're going to take a look at the nuts and bolts of how to put that all together. So we're going to take a look at systems. And any of you in the military are going to be super familiar with systems because that's how pretty much everything that you do in terms of training is put together, right? You start at the smallest thing and you build on that and you get good at it and you do it faster and you do it often. And we're going to look at how that works in terms of being healthy, taking care of yourself, achieving your goals, working towards different progress that you might be looking for. So we're going to look specifically at habits, rituals, and behaviors, and how those three things interlink with one another, and how those drive your progress towards the finish line, or are the things that hold you back. So we're going to dive into that. But before we do any of that, the disclaimer.
Yes, so as always, we have the disclaimer from Ottawa. So I'll just read it through. The presentation you are about to view is the intellectual property of the Department of National Defense. Any reproduction or retransmission of the slides contained in this presentation is strictly forbidden. Some of the topics discussed in this webinar may be of sensitive nature and may not be appropriate for children. Parental discretion is requested. For this presentation, you're pretty safe, but again, if you have young children around and listening ears, just be aware of that. Please understand that people's stories are theirs alone to tell, and anything that is shared by participants in this webinar, either on camera or in chat, is not to be discussed outside of this webinar. This webinar is being recorded and will be available for viewing later on cafconnection.ca. Though active participation is encouraged, you may simply follow along without using chat, video, microphone options if you prefer. So you can sit back and watch the presentation, or feel free to chat. And like Carissa said, that chat isn't being recorded, so you don't have to be worried about that. And so we are going to do our first poll and get an idea of your affiliation to the CAF.
Oh, we're down some serving members.
Yep.
Yeah, they're probably all at work. Oh, there they are. They're just slow. All right. Not that we don't love our civilian employees either, but we're always really happy when we've got some members present. So awesome. That's great. Thank you, guys. So what are things that you do that are automatic? Can you think of things that are automatic? Hello, Melissa. Nice to see you. Well, see you. So from the screen, things like adjusting your glasses. I do that all the time. My face is crooked, so I always am adjusting my glasses. Wake up and make the bed. Yes. Did you guys watch that video? No, that was my seminar last week for my other stress thing. It's such a good video. I love it. It's a YouTube video about the guy who makes his bed based on the Navy SEAL who's doing the commencement address. Anyway, so good. How about touching your face? People touch their faces, probably, hopefully. Thanks, Krenza. Yeah. Probably less now, right? If I have gum in my mouth, I'm always trying to blow bubbles, whether it's bubble gum or not. What about some other things? Do you guys have things that you do? Yes, hair behind your ear, feed the kitty. That's awesome. It's gonna be a fat cat. Awesome. What about anybody have not really? Okay, that's good. I have crossed my arms a lot. Yep, snapping. Okay. Anybody have a pen? I don't have. Oh yeah, I do. Like if you've got a, yeah. Pen clickers. Do you have any pen clickers? Do you have any knee bouncers? People hate sitting beside me on the airplane. Actually, they hate sitting beside me anywhere because I'm always bouncing my knee. I noticed that I do this now because I'm on a wheelie chair and my feet are on a step, so I can. So yeah, twirl the pen in my fingers. Yeah. When I was in university, that was one of the things that one of my classmates did. He was able to do this pen flip thing, and I spent all semester learning how to do that. I don't know if I remembered any of the chemistry, but I remembered how to know what to do with my hand. Yeah, yeah, right. So those automatic things, when you think about that, is where we're kind of moving forward with this. So there are things that we do that we don't even know that we're doing, and sometimes they're completely, whatever, they're just things that we do, bad habits. Sometimes those habits are things, though, that drive behaviors. And so we're going to try to make that link a little bit. So when we're thinking about habits, rituals, and behaviors, what are they? Really, they're just things that we do every day, often multiple times a day, mostly without thinking, maybe a little bit more conscious thinking now, and maybe they're things that we needed to be taught and learned, or we had to learn how to do them, like remembering to brush our teeth or getting up and making the bed, like those kinds of things. They have become that habit. And others of them, we needed to be reminded. We all got lessons now. I'm sure everybody's watched the little videos and on public health on how to wash your hands, right? Like getting your thumbs and washing between your fingers and doing the tops and singing the song in 20 seconds and under the running water and like all that. So we've had to kind of remember how to do those things that had already been ingrained into our mind. And it's a testament to how smart we are, how brilliant this organ in our skulls is, that we can do those things without thinking. And of course, there's military examples as well, right? Like field stripping your weapon, packing your gear, getting ready for a jump, or any of the things that you need to do, like parade. How many times do you guys have to practice your drill, right? So things that you need to do right, well, fast, and consistently. That's what the practice and the training is all about. And so when we're trying to change our behavior, we need to think about what are things that we can practice, what can we train that allows us to do them without thinking, that it supports what it is that we want ultimately to achieve. So do people think that habits and rituals, like what do they have in common? Are they more similar or less similar? And anybody who's got their mics activated, please feel free to chime in. You don't have to put camera on if you don't want, if it's easier to speak, or just put in the chat. We're used to the anonymity. It's okay. No pressure. Okay, I'll tell you. So in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, I think of habits more as those mindless things that we do, just the autopilot. It's a habit, how we get to work, right? We get in the car, we drive the route, we don't even think about it. Everybody's had that realization that they're parking their car and they're like, I don't actually know how I got here, but here I am. Did I stop at the lights? Were they red? Did I turn? Did I look for traffic? But here I am because it's on autopilot, right? So that can be viewed as a habit, right? Absolutely. Whereas rituals are maybe slightly more mindful and maybe they're associated with something, like, for example, coloring Easter eggs or how you eat an Oreo. Eating an Oreo might be a habit if the bag is there, but how you do that, there's a ritualistic aspect, right? So those are what we're thinking about more in terms of rituals versus habits. They're both things that are done repetitively and often without a lot of conscious effort. It just happens. You see yourself twisting or biting or dipping or whatever the case may be. But even something like family movie night. So the ritual might be a family movie night on Friday night. And you also have popcorn as part of that ritual. But maybe the habit is that you choose the biggest bowl of popcorn to have the most popcorn present. And what that does is it leads to the behavior of mindless eating. So the behavior that you want to nip in the bud is just eating all the popcorn in the bowl because you have the biggest one. So maybe the habit is make the popcorn, put it into a smaller bowl, and then have little serving bowls where you put the amount of popcorn in that you're going to eat out of the bowl. And then, you might need to fill it once or twice after that, but at least it's making you conscious about that as opposed to just that automatic reaching into the giant bowl of popcorn, right? So where do those habits come from? Does anybody remember learning those habits? With potentially the exception of the military ones, obviously, because I'm sure you all have fond memories of basic training and of those kinds of things. Watching my dad, yes. Yeah, right? So what we see other people do often drives the things that we do, 100%. So we're often told as parents, make sure that what you're doing and what you're saying, you're aware of that because there's little eyes watching you and they are going to in turn mimic those actions, which can potentially become either good or bad habits. I'm still waiting for my obsessive cleanliness to become the habit that my daughter is picking up on. Thus far, she seems to have been blocking that very successfully. So one of the things that we can think of as a really great example of a habit that drives behaviors is smoking. So this isn't a topic, this series is not about smoking, but it's just such a good example. So smoking is the habit, but why is it hard to quit? because of all the behaviors that go around having that cigarette. Depending on how much you smoke, maybe you have the first thing that you wake up, your feet hit the floor, you're reaching for that pack of cigarettes, you light up. Then you have your coffee, and with coffee, always there's a cigarette. After breakfast or any meal, driving on the way to work, you know at what point you're going to be through your first cigarette. Like, are you taking the route that allows you to have one cigarette or two? Do you know that when you're at this intersection, you have time to finish that last one before you pull into the parking lot and have to butt out? You know where the buckhands are. You know where the smoking areas are. With coffee and driving, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Right. So those behaviors are the things that support that habit, which is kind of the opposite of sometimes we've got habits that are supporting the behavior. But these are things that are all associated. So they come into this intermingled pile that we have to sort of extricate. So when we're doing butt out, we're talking about literally breaking down your day. What are all the times that you have a cigarette? What are all the times that you are thinking about or that are associated with that behavior, that cigarette, and how to turn that around? So that's what we're talking about in terms of how they all link to one another and how we have to sometimes really pull them apart to make it better. So we're going to have a little bit of fun, and it's the Nicole show now.
Yes. So we're going to do some this or that. So the choices you make with the this or that may be reflective of some of the habits or rituals that you already have. So we'll take a look at the first one, and Chris is going to put up the polls. So would you rather a romantic breakfast where, you know, theoretically we have more time to have breakfast and have it all laid out and beautiful looking, or the smoothie on the go? You know, if it's fast and it's quick, then, you know, I'm going to get on with my day. It served its purpose. And I'm seeing more of the romantic breakfast.
Oh, 50. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So again, the choices that you're making is going to be reflective of our priorities, right? So pre-COVID, we have to get out the door in the morning. So maybe we want a few more minutes in bed. So we want that quick grab and go. Again, it serves its purpose. And maybe that romantic breakfast was only reserved for the weekend. And now that we're home, maybe, you know, we have that more time to sit down with our family, maybe our partner, maybe we're sitting down reading a book and having that time to enjoy that nice breakfast. So there's no right or wrong to this, but just thinking about what motivates or influences these choices, right? So maybe with this time that you have more time at home right now in the morning, maybe you're still going for the smoothie because it's just what works for you, right? Maybe you have kids at home and you just need to get something fast. So again, it reflects that those priorities. So for the next one, would you rather the group fitness aerobics class or slugging it out in the mud doing some kind of a Spartan race? Oh, 50-50. Oh, no.
It's so fun to watch the results come up.
So we're getting more of the group fitness, slightly. So yeah, again, it's thinking about what you're passionate about, right? So it's pretty evenly split here. Maybe for the group fitness, that's what motivates you. Maybe at lunchtime, you go over to the gym with a friend, and getting into that group environment, having the instructor-led class is what's going to get that workout in the day done for you. So once you go over at lunchtime and you have that check in the box that I did it, and it's motivating being in that group environment. Or maybe you're more in the camp of being able to do some kind of a mud run Spartan race and get those medals and literally wear the t-shirt and show off, hey, look, I did this. And maybe that's a passion for you. Or like Carissa has said that she's done too, literally got the t-shirt and she's good. You know, I've done it and I'm going to move on.
I don't need to be that dirty anymore.
So whatever you choose, again, it's going to reflect what your passion is. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, neither. And that's okay too, right? So for me, it's more of that being in the swimming pool. I like to I grew up swimming and in synchronized swimming, so that's kind of my always go-to. But hopefully, maybe if you haven't found that passion yet, you'll find it. So there's always that time to find something that you're going to love. And for the next one, so are you more inclined to watch that latest and greatest Netflix series or some kind of televised sports, which you're probably in withdrawal now since there's nothing going on?
Oh,
we're more into the sports. Okay. So a lot of unhappy people then right now. So again, for some people, it doesn't matter what kind of sport it is, as long as there's something moving on the field and there's points to be had, then, I'm going to sit back and watch. Or again, depending on whatever Netflix series is the latest and greatest, that's what your go-to is going to be. But however you answered this, I want you to think about, is there a snack that you can think of that you have to have while you're watching one of those things? So let's say you're watching that sporting event on TV, but without that snack, it feels like something's missing. So think about, can you watch TV without a snack? Is that possible? Oh, yes. And eat fruit.
Sorry, rock, paper, scissors was the answer to Karenza.
Okay.
Fruit, yeah, for sure.
All right.
Awesome. So what was all that we were really trying to accomplish with those was just to sort of say, hey, you know what, we all have a preference. We all have something that we like to do. And the reasons behind that are as varied as the individuals that are preparing or that are participating, right? Like, yeah, absolutely. I can watch a TV show or go to a football game without buying something or eating something, but there's just something about the experience of having those wings or getting that big hot dog that's wrapped in the foil. And, like there's just kind of that thing that makes it be a part of the experience. So it's just a question of, am I deliberately going to go down there and have a hot dog because the game happens to be at supper time, or am I going to eat a hot dog even though I had lunch before I went to the game, but I always have a hot dog, right? Like, so we have to think about those kinds of things in terms of what is driving the decision to do that. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that next week when we're talking about the different kinds of hunger that people experience. And you think that hunger is hunger, but oh no, it's not. So when we think about those different rituals and habits, so the questions were meant to kind of get you thinking about what motivates, what drives, what causes you to think A or B, and maybe where does some of that come from. But do the things that you do habitually or ritually, do they help or hinder with the achievement of the goals that you want to accomplish? So just because you've always done something a certain way doesn't mean that it can't change. It just means sometimes it's a little bit harder because it's so ingrained and it's so supported by all of the things that you have going on in place. Sometimes the behavior that we want to start doesn't ever get off the ground because we're literally jumping into something that's too big and we haven't thought about the steps that are required to be able to make that happen. Nobody says, I'm going to jump out of an airplane, I'm going to be a jumper, I'm going to be a skydiver, and they run to the airport, hop in a plane, and jump out, right? There's all kinds of things that happen before that even can become an option. So we need to know what all of those little steps are that are going to create the environment or the frame within which that behavior is going to be supported. So maybe what we're going to need to do is just break things down into the smallest, tiniest pieces possible. So I'm going to use the example of going to the gym because there's a great podcast and I'm going to try, or Nicole's going to try, we're doing an experiment. So I'll put the link up to the podcast that I think it came out of because I've lost track. I've listened to so many, but we're going to put that up in a minute. But we're going to just go through the idea of going to the gym. And James Clear, I don't know if anybody's familiar with James Clear. He wrote Atomic Habits. It's excellent. And that's what he does, is he breaks things down into how do you develop good habits and how do you maybe start dismantling some of those bad ones. So if we look at going to the gym, it seems like a no-brainer for those of us who do it on a regular basis. But if this is something that you feel that you've always wanted to try to get to, but haven't quite made it there, then it's because it's actually a monumental task. So the first thing is, do you have a gym membership? Do you have a place that you can go? No? Then we need to find one. So are you female and prefer to work in a women's only environment? Are you either gender and you prefer to work more in a functional fitness kind of a space? Do you want to have one that's got group fitness classes as well as just equipment? Do you want things that allow you to work in zones? What is it that's going to make you feel the most comfortable? So that's a big decision to make, and money and cost. For us, well, Nicole, not so much. She's just happy when the pool is open across the street. But for Heather and I, we're grateful that the gym is across the street when we're at the office because we go at lunch and we work out there. But you need to have that place to go. You need to have that place where you're going to feel comfortable. What if you think you should go to the gym because everybody else says, if you want to get in shape, if you want to be healthy, if you want to be fit, you need to go to the gym. So you're like, I should go to the gym. But what if you hate the gym? What if you hate the gym? Then all of that is a waste of time. Like, don't bother breaking it down if it's something that you hate and aren't going to do. It might turn out that you start going to the gym with a friend and you realize, you know what, this is kind of fun and I like working out with my friend. So maybe this is something I could consider. But make sure that if you're going through this process of breaking it down, that it's for a behavior that you actually are interested and passionate about doing. Okay. So let's just assume that going to the gym is fine. You're okay with that. So now we got to start taking a look at all the steps. And for those of you who go, you probably don't realize that all of these things go into the consideration and that these can sometimes be the barriers for people who are trying to get there. So just think about how that has already happened for you. So you've decided that you're going to go, gym is good. You have a place to go. You've got your membership or your ability to get there. Now you need to have the right outfit. And I'm not talking about Lululemon or Under Armour or whatever. I'm talking about shorts and a t-shirt or leggings and a good pair of shoes. Do you have that? Yes, great. No, then you need to go out and get some, right? So that's another whole process. You're like, I'm going to go to the gym. Oh, but I can't really go with this. So you need to figure that out. So then you got to get that stuff to the gym, or are you wearing it to the gym? That's another question. Do you put your clothes on and go to the gym, or do you change when you're at the gym? That seems like such a little tiny detail, but it's huge in determining whether it's something that you can foresee yourself doing. So if you have to bring your stuff, do you have a gym bag? Again, it seems like a no-brainer, but do you have a gym bag, or are you just going to put it in the Safeway bag? Also fine. But now when you're at the gym, are you going in the morning? Are you going after work? Are you going at lunch? Do you need to shower? So if you need to shower, are there lockers? Are you going to be able to bring your own water bottle? Do you have to bring a water bottle? Do you want to drink from the water fountains? Are there water fountains? Fit for Less doesn't have water fountains because it's like the bare bones, no attendance, no nothing, right? So you need to be aware of that. So you've got your clothes, you've got your water, you've got your bag, whether it's a gym bag or a Safeway bag, it doesn't matter. Is there a locker? Do you have a lock? Do you know the combination to the lock? Do you know where the key to the lock is? Again, little tiny things that you need to start thinking about in terms of being able to go to the gym. So now you've gotten into the gym, you've got your stuff, you've got your locker, you're ready to go. Is it before work, after work, or during work? Because that's going to make a big difference as well. Then do you have a workout plan? Are you working with a friend? Are you going by yourself? Do you have a plan that you downloaded from the internet? Do you want a trainer? Are you working one-on-one? Or are you working in a group, right? Like all of these things need to go into the whole table flow chart of just going to the gym. Again, for those of us that go to the gym, we've already figured out how to make that be the behavior that is supported. But for people who are just starting out, the same would apply to deciding to eat more vegetables. What if you hate vegetables? Well, then you're going to have to figure out which ones you like. Do you know how to buy vegetables? Do you know how to choose a carrot? Do you know what to look for in broccoli? When is a cauliflower ripe? All of these things. So there's all these little tiny things that a lot of us take for granted, but then when you're starting something new, you realize, oh, it's the same thing in terms of going to the gym or buying a cauliflower as it is for these things that I already do without thinking. Does that make sense? Otherwise, yeah, exactly. Doing your stuff the night before, 100%, right? 100%. If you're not getting ready to do those things, then it's unlikely to happen. So what kinds of systems do you have in place? So Karenza has shared the systems that she has. So what kinds of other systems do you guys have that are working well for you? Anything. This image isn't meant to do anything other than show you how complicated systems are, because there's all kinds of influences that we sometimes forget to consider. One of the other examples that Heather has often used in terms of going to the gym is even just being able to get to the gym. So when she was working with a client and it was a person who was on reconditioning, it was like a remedial PT when they used to call it that. This was when she was over in fitness. And she's like, okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to pack your gym bag and you're just going to put it at the door. And you're just going to leave it there. And then you're going to do that every day for whatever. Like, so Karenza's saying she gets it ready the night before and then that's ready. So you're going to get into the habit of packing that gym bag for a week. The next week, you're going to take the gym bag and you're going to put it in your car. Because this is a military person, so they're going to have to go to the gym, right? Like, so this is something that, you know, maybe that's not their passion and they don't love it, but it's for them because their career is kind of depending on it. The week after that, they're going to take the gym bag, put it in the car, drive to work, go to the gym, but don't necessarily go in, just go to the parking lot. You're going to do that for a week. So what is this? What is she saying? Why is this helping the person being able to eventually go to the gym when they haven't even set foot in the gym yet? What is the process that she's creating for them? Yes, absolutely. 100%, right? So after you've put that gym bag by the door, after you've put that gym bag in the car, after you've driven to the gym for 3 weeks, now all of a sudden it's kind of the steps that you need exactly, right? So she actually got them, she broke it down so small. And this was actually even before she read James Clear, Atomic Habits. I mean, maybe she was sending those vibes to him. I don't know. But it took 5 weeks before he even got into the gym. And then she said, go into the gym and stay there for 5 minutes and then leave. It's just getting to the gym, going through the doors, saying hello to the attendant, say hello, take a look around and leave. And then pretty soon, well, it doesn't seem soon because we're talking like 6 weeks now, but at some point, he's going to have gone through all this stuff because that routine has been built. Those steps have been followed. They've started to be turned into a pathway in his brain. And then she says, and get on the treadmill for 5 minutes. And then after 5 minutes, get off. So maybe he did, maybe he didn't. How many times have you said to yourself, I don't feel like it. I don't want to do it. I'm going to do 5 minutes and then I'm going to quit. But you don't, because once you've gotten over that 5 minutes, you're kind of like, this isn't so bad. I can finish this. I'm not a swimmer. I don't think Nicole has seen me swim. It's not pretty. I'm a sinker as opposed to a swimmer, but I love the water. And so I just say to myself, I'm going to swim to the end of the pool and back. And I'm going to try to do front crawl. And it looks like I'm actually drowning the entire way and coming back. But I make myself do it. And then I'm like, okay, that wasn't so bad. I'm going to do it again. So I just, you kind of get yourself to a point where the momentum is what's actually driving you. And that's what we're talking about systems. We're talking about that. And you can apply that to every single aspect of your life. The next piece of that, though, is what are you going to do? What are the things that you want to see happen for you in your life? If you have, Karenza was talking about water. So one of the easiest ways to do that is to have a water bottle. Okay, this is my coffee cup, but your water bottle right where your workstation is. And you're going to reach for that and drink because it's there. And pretty soon you're going to reach and you're going to write, hey, it's empty. And you could have put it back down because you're working. Then you're going to reach again because you're still waiting for that sip. And you're like, oh, I have to get up and fill it. But you would never have known that that cup was empty if you hadn't started putting that cup on your desk in the first place to drink that water. Same thing if you want to eat more fruit. If you want to eat more fruit, put a bowl of fruit on your counter that's washed and ready to go. So you can just grab it on your way out the door, or you can go down to watch sports and grab your fruit, right? Because it's there. The healthy choice is the easy choice. And so what you want to do is you want to set yourself up for success by creating those routines, creating those rituals, and starting to practice those habits that make them so cemented and automatic. But a really important consideration is, because we all know that best laid plans What do you need to do if something goes right? Do you have a plan B? Say you decide that you're going to work out at lunch. And I'm sorry that I'm kind of harping on the working out at lunch or at working out at all, but it's just an easy one because it links to so many different things. Say you decide that you want to work out at lunch, but there was a last minute going away luncheon for one of your coworkers. What do? What is your plan B? So now your lunch workout, which you always have, is in danger. Do you have a plan B to address that? Can you go after work? Can you do something with your family instead that's going to give you your exercise quota without necessarily having been at the gym? Before work and after? Okay, well, you're just keen. Awesome. Yeah. But what if you didn't know? What if you didn't do your morning workout? You don't have a morning workout. It's your like 30 minutes. Yes. Find it somewhere else. Absolutely. Stick it in. Because how you deal with plan A not coming to fruition is going to be the key to how successfully you're able to live like you're on the other side of the finish line. So if you come home and the chicken that you had pulled out or thought that you'd pulled out is not pulled out because you thought you pulled it out, put it wherever, and it's not there, and you're like, oh crap, now I don't have anything for supper. What's your plan B? Maybe your plan B is when that happens, I am allowed to order from the local pizza place and get a vegetarian pizza and a big salad or a pepperoni pizza or whatever. Just maybe not double meat, double cheese. Okay, just trying to make a little bit healthier. Or do you have leftovers from the night before? Or might this be a night that you could do breakfast for supper? Because most of us usually have eggs in the fridge, right? Unless there's an egg allergy or you hate eggs. But, have pancakes. You can whip up pancakes with like 3 ingredients, well, maybe 5, and have breakfast for supper. So how you plan being it really is going to be a deciding factor into how successful you can be, because something is always going to throw a wrench into your plans. That much is guaranteed. I mean, look at our plans. Our plans for 2020 have pretty much gone down the tubes. So we're all plan being it right now, right? We're all plan being it, and that's okay. Brene Brown, who I believe invented the term plan being it as a verb, she has some great tips on that as well. You just need to be able to figure out what are you going to do to make sure that you're still moving forward, even if it's slightly over to the left or to the right of what you thought the path was. Okay, does that make sense? How many of you are 2020 planning to get rid of COVID?
Yeah.
Totally. But you know what? I'm really worried. It's totally off topic, but I'm really worried because here in Alberta, I think we're moving too quickly, and I think that's going to come back and bite us in the ass. It's not going to be good. So yeah, I know Brene Brown is amazing. She's so cool. All right, so many pieces to this, you guys, like so many pieces. So in the process of figuring out what it is that we want to do to get to that successful us, there may potentially be some things that we know are inadvertently sabotaging those efforts. So all of us probably have some things that we need to stop doing because they're just not working for us. We're doing them because maybe as we maybe have mentioned, I might have forgotten to say this, but those rituals and habits, we do them because they meet some kind of need for us. Mm-hmm. So maybe the habit that we have or the behavior that we have that needs to stop is really hard to stop because it is actually meeting a need for us right now that we aren't getting met some other way. And until that need is met in some other way, that behavior is going to continue, because if we stop doing it, something isn't going to happen for us, and we're not going to be able to function. So there are things that we need to start letting go of, but we can only do that if all of the other pieces are in place that support those positive changes. So if, let's say, eating a row of Oreo cookies is how you deal with a bad day, then maybe we need to figure out a way to deal with the bad day in another way than eating that row of Oreo cookies. I think I used to know how many were in a row, but I've since forgotten because I think the packages can also have gotten smaller. Mm-hmm. But we also know that we're doing things that are working. Everybody is here and successful because they are doing things that are working. So you want to keep those things. So you want to start reflecting on some of the things that you might want to stop doing and maybe jot those down. And we're going to give you took breaks at work. Yeah, see, that's not necessarily good. You still want to take those breaks. You still want to take those breaks, but they need to be done in a different way so that it still supports you to have a break, but doesn't trigger you to go have a cigarette, right? Like, so that's what I mean. It's so complex and so interwoven that we think it's just a simple walking. Okay, great. So that, Florin, is walking something that you want to start doing or that you're already doing and you want to keep doing? I had to stop taking breaks at work 2 weeks. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do say that.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, if you're not, oh, for others, okay, gotcha, thank you. 2 hours and you get what I need. Yeah, 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 for sure. I mean, and so right, like that's a tension that's going to exist between you and your family, so that you're doing things for you, while still recognizing and valuing that they want you to be home with them. Right. But, that's a conversation depending on who all is in your family and how old they are. Maybe that's a conversation that you can have to say, hey, what can we do to work together so that we all get what we want? But I get to go to the gym for me because that's how I keep my sparkle. Right. Like that's what I tell Daphne. I need to go work out because if you don't want me to be cranky, nasty mama, then you got to let me work out. All right. Be angry all the time. No, not really. Well, maybe. And then there's the green box, which that's the hardest one sometimes. This is the green box of starting something new, which means it's all brand new things that need to be implemented. Those are all of those steps that we just did the example of the gym with, right? So whether that is learning how to swim, actually, one of my friends is learning how to ride a bike. She's grown up. She doesn't know how to ride a bike. So she's already had to buy a new helmet because she's crashed into her garage. She put a dent into their garbage can with her head. But she's not giving up. So talking about breaking things down into their basic steps, right? That is her journey. That's her green box. And so she's keeping on plugging away at that. So how do you do that? Well, again, lots of steps. We know that you have to have a plan. We know that something needs to happen in order to make the thing be real, visual, concrete, and oh, yay! Awesome. Skateboarding.
Yeah.
Best thing ever. That's my new passion. I'm still not super awesome at it, and the weather hasn't really cooperated, but I'm planning on going out today. So you got to figure out a system. And any of you who have tuned into the stress webinar know that this orange thing over here to my left, this was my lifesaver. This is what kept me sane in the first 2 weeks of this working from home thing, because I was lost and floundering. So I had to create a system where I write stuff on sticky notes and put them in the squares. And as I'm done, they go on my completed tasks sheet. And I don't use this as much anymore because I've transitioned to being able to just go with like a 1 week jot stuff down approach. But you need to do something that's going to work for you. So the bullet journal on your screen that shows the little droplets of water, maybe if drinking more water is what one of your goals is, you do that and you fill out the little drops every time you empty your glass or every time you have to go refill your water bottle. The little squares are your workouts. Fearless Floaters course, awesome. That's amazing. I love that. What? The fact that it's on your PER, I think, is amazing because that speaks to the fact that you're always learning, right? And that learning is so important, and it will probably trickle into other aspects of your life. And you know what? It's good for a laugh, and absolutely, I think that's amazing. So do things for you that are going to work. Find a system that is going to lay out for you, like my tried and true day timer of old works for me when I'm at work because I can see the schedule of the classes that we're teaching and the stuff that's coming up and the meetings that I'm going to have. But here at home, it doesn't fit the bill. So I had to come up with something different. So whatever you choose to come up with for yourself, make sure that it's fun, make sure that it works. Because if you don't like it and it's horrible and tedious, you're not going to do it. So there's another piece to this. And not like I haven't asked you guys to do enough already, but we need to think about the behaviors that we need to stop, the behaviors that we want to keep, and the things that we want to start doing. We're going to put that into a plan that keeps us accountable, and it's a concrete visual, whatever that looks like. But then we also want to project outward and make it a physical reality. Where do I see myself? What does success look like? So we're kind of backing up to success again. And I would encourage you to do something as basic as making a dream or vision board. And I know that sounds super airy fairy and, you know, rainbows and unicorns and all that stuff. But I have some friends who are very successful business people, and they make one every year. And they have gotten where they are because they put out there what it is that they want to accomplish in any given year. And they make pictures, the whole family is involved. Like when it was just the two of them, it was stuff about the two of them. Now they've got two boys, and the two boys have their things. They're really huge into jujitsu, so they put like medals and podiums up because one son is competing in jujitsu. So they're creating these images for themselves. Every year they make it, and every year they can tick off stuff that they've accomplished because it's out there outlined for them. So if you're close to retirement, what do you want your retirement to look like? If you're nowhere close to retirement, what do you want the next 15 years of your career to look like? If you've got an idea about the trade that you want to get to, or about a special thing in the military that you want to accomplish, put that on there. If you don't like the cutting and pasting idea, I'll show you what mine looks like. If you don't like cutting and pasting out of magazine pictures, do it online. You can do a virtual one. I think you could probably even Google an app on how to make one of these things virtually. So it's a new year, 2020. Those are my things that I want to do, my things that I want to learn, things that what does it actually say? Things I want to get better at, something I want to do less of, 2 new things I'm going to try, and 10 things I want to learn. So that's what's on there, and that's what the pictures kind of are supposed to represent. So there's travel, there's games, there's nature, there's environment, there's sharing, so that was me. That was something that worked for me, and I had a super fun time doing it. My husband still thinks I'm a freak, but yeah, you know what, 16 years later, he's still stuck with me, but it helps. So that's just an example. So it's an idea of how, again, to try to put something out there that isn't going to encourage you to be that person that you want to be on the other side of that finish line. So to get you there, the handout, should you choose to download them, hence the winky face. Oh, Nicole's going to do it. Go, Nicole, you can do it. So there's 2 handouts. One of them is a booklet that looks like this. And it's just got all of the little spaces in there for the things that you want to learn how to do, and the steps that you might need to take to do them, and then maybe a little bit of a timeline. So if you want to do something that you know is going to take some time to accomplish, maybe put down the date that you're going to do the very first thing, and then get a bigger piece of paper and write down all of those steps. So that's what that first one is about. And the second one that says systems, that's an opportunity for you to actually fill in. There's columns at the bottom of each of those boxes that allow you to jot down the things that you would like to stop, keep, and start. Very similar to what my big orange, well, it was actually, no, I think it's blue, said. So those are there for you to give a go. And then, as always, our takeaways. Before we can change anything, we need to be aware of where we're at, right? You don't know what you don't know. We need to take stock of the actions that we want to make sure that they're meshing with our goals, that they're not getting in the way of our accomplishing them. So all of these activities around self-reflection, that's what that's for. We don't usually take the time to do that. And so that's why we so very often fail. We don't think about what it is that we're doing and what we need to be doing, and we don't make a plan. And so we dive in head first instead of feet first. And sometimes bad things happen when you do that. So we just need to figure out what we're doing. The podcast, do you want to see if it works, Nicole?
Sure.
Okay. So it should be in, I don't know where it is now.
Okay, share now. I'm going to try.
Okay. Yeah, so there's that. That's the conversation. So yeah, I would recommend it. Hopefully it's the same one. If it's not, even if it's a little bit different, I think that the gist of it will be there. So as he says, building those successes into something that you've broken down so that it becomes a no-brainer, that's your go-to. So try to break those things down into the smallest pieces that you have available. And then that success acts as a domino system where one thing builds on the other and it just creates that momentum and it moves you forward. We need to get good at plan Bing it. We don't like plan Bing it. Heather knows a person who he can only do things when the moon and the stars all align. And when that doesn't happen, it's like he throws up his arms in despair and it's like, I can't do it. It's not going to happen. Well, you're not going to get a lot done if that's the approach that you take. So you need to get good at plan Bing it. You need to roll with those punches. And I think for those of you in the military, you've gotten really good at that. You have to. It's a survival mechanism. If you can't roll with the punches, you are going to be in anger management or drinking. So you just kind of have to get good at it, right? And then find ways to reinforce those new goals. You know, if you can get your family on board and they get to be your support system, even if they're not around you, let them know. That's the other piece. Sometimes we're afraid to share what it is that we're working towards because we don't want people to know, because we don't want to fail and feel like we've let them down. But if you tell them what it is that you're working on or trying to accomplish, then you're creating a support system and a cheerleading squad that is going to be there and rally behind you and encourage you when maybe you're starting to feel like your motivation is flagging. So put it out there and get that support from the people that are going to help you to be successful. And then find a system, you know, whatever that system is. For me right now, the guarantee of working out is that I put my exercise clothes on when I wake up in the morning. I walk the dog, I feed the dog, I go downstairs and I work out. Except for today and Thursday when I have a webinar, but you can see that I've put 2 stickers in my afternoon blocks that says workout. So I've scheduled it for myself knowing that I couldn't do it in the morning. So sometime this afternoon, I'm going to work out because it's on the thing. And I want to be able to move it to the completed tasks page so I have a motivation to do it. So find those systems, reinforce those goals, create your vision, support and build up what that image of success looks like for you, and break down those things into those small pieces so that they become as habitual as brushing your teeth and washing your hands. Anybody have any questions? The funniest giving up picture. Okay, I need to see what happens. I'm sorry if I'm gone. Oh. Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. If anybody can click on that, it is too good. It is so true. I have almost done that. I have almost picked up there was an image that I used and it was a sticky note on a computer saying, I'm out of here. I'm coming back never. Because it was, and the computer system was system error, fatal system error on the computer. And so the guy is like, literally, he's like, I'm done. And, yeah. Intriguing. Oh my gosh, you guys are so funny. All right. So once again, just to remind everybody that there are, okay, now I don't know how to get this thing off my screen. I'm going to move the featured action so that I can move forward. Oh, no. I don't know why it's there. I don't want to, can I close that? Oh.
Yeah.
So the resources, as always. Now, good news and bad news. The SIFMAP program is awesome, and we've recommended it, like every single webinar has recommended it, but it's getting to the point where people are now having the experience of having to wait a little bit longer before they can have their sort of follow-up appointment. So the turnaround time is still really fast in terms of someone getting back to you with giving you the resource to connect with. That first appointment is pretty fast, but it's the one after that that is a little bit longer now than historically, because a lot of people are clearly finding the need to seek out and reach for that support right now. So don't be discouraged. It's still a great resource. Just prepare yourself that it might not be as quick as it might have been in the past, But as things start to open up, recognize too that the support that you would have gotten at your base or wing will start to become more available, probably with all the different precautions in place as well. It's not on our resource list yet, but your social workers, your mental health workers, those people are all probably getting the warning orders around what it's going to look like going back to work. So those resources will probably soon be more available and maybe even continue virtually. So do check in with what's going on for you locally at your bases and wings. But absolutely reach out if you feel that you need to.
Okay, so 2 more polls, and I think, Krista, you're going to bring that up?
Yep.
Okay. I feel I can apply what I learned today in my daily living.
Hang on, I'm just really struggling as usual.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go.
My only criticism about this poll is that I think they need to put agree at the top and disagree at the bottom, because I feel like people just automatically sometimes make the distinction anyway. Yeah. Or you can just do like we've done in the past and just put agree throughout, which is, you know, also good. All right.
And the second one about the Demio platform, that you think that it is effective, you're satisfied with it.
So we know, and I think we've mentioned this, that health promotion anyway, I don't know about the rest of the entities, are continuing to investigate different platforms because we know about the limitations that this one has. It was just the one that seemed to fit all the boxes at the time in the short turnaround time that we had to get things going. But we're looking to find ones that actually are supported by CFMWS and the D1 networks, and that will likely change. And you guys will know as soon as we know, kind of a thing. I know that our senior manager in Ottawa has been pulling out his hair dealing with IT about this. So I can only imagine how challenging it has been to try to find something that works kind of across the board. So thank you for tolerating this platform as long as you have. And there's a couple of weeks to go, and then we'll sort of see how that all pans out. But in the meantime, if anybody has any parting thoughts. Yeah, everybody can relate to that guy throwing the no thanks, parting thoughts, or no parting thoughts and thanks. Lauren, I'm just totally giving you a hard time. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. Okay, good. Oh, high fives. All right. Awesome. Right back at you. You're welcome. So yeah, guys, have an awesome week, and do take care. I encourage you to check out the resources, obviously, and the podcast if you have a chance. And if you've got anything that you would like to share, as we've done, please feel free to do that as well, especially if it's things that you think that will bring a smile to the faces of the participants, and maybe lead them down a path towards the success that they're looking for. So yeah, thank you, Nicole, for doing a great job on your first webinar.
Second week back.
Second week back. Nothing like baptism by fire to get you going.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Yay, Nicole. See? Awesome. Thanks, Lisa. All right, everybody, have an awesome week. Enjoy the weather, whatever it may be where you are at, because there are no rainbows without rain. So take care, be safe, and see you on the flip-flop. Bye.
Bye.